morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to discuss to you the answers on your prelim exam questions and problems. By the way, for the benefit of those who have no strong internet connections, I'll be sending recordings discussing some of the topics in this subject. To begin with, let's have test number 1, identification. Okay, the direction. Tell whether the figure shown below is a graph of linear, quadratic, sine, cosine, tangent, exponential, or logarithmic function. This is 1 point each, and we have 5 items. Let's have first number 1. Okay, by looking at this figure, you can immediately say that this is a trigonometric function. It could be either cosine or sine function. Those two trigonometric functions are almost similar. The distinction can be determined by observing or by considering the origin. At this point of intersection, at the origin we have this coordinate 0, 0. Okay, if we set our x coordinate to 0 and we consider a sine function, sine 0 will give us a value of our y coordinate equal to 0, which does not coincide with our curve, which passes through the coordinate 0, 1. So that's why we can say that this is not a sine function. And if we consider the cosine function, the cosine 0, if we try to check using the trigonometric circle or by using your calculator, cosine 0 is equal to 1. So cosine 0 is equal to 1. That's why it will give us a coordinate 0, 1, wherein our curve passes through. Therefore, we can say this is a cosine function. So this curve is a cosine function. Okay, let's proceed to number 2. This is almost similar to the figure in number 1. The only difference is that this curve passes through the origin, which has a coordinate 0, 0. So if we try to set, okay, if we consider this function y equals to sine x, so if we set this value of x equals to 0, let's have the coordinate of our origin 0, 0. So if our value of x is equal to 0, so sine 0, using our calculator, sine 0 will give us the value of our y equals to 0. This coincides with our curve. So it passes through 0, 0. Therefore, it is true. So this function is true for our curve. Therefore, this is a sine function. Number 3. Obviously, this is a tangent function. So we have this repetitive figure, so from left to right. Obviously, this is a tangent function. Then number 4, it is also obvious that this is a linear function, so we have this straight line. Okay, number 5. Number 5 could be either exponential or logarithmic. Exponential function is the inverse of logarithmic function, and our clue here is this figure or this curve has an asymptote of a horizontal line. The asymptote is the line being approached by our curve, but it doesn't meet. In this case, this is an exponential function. Okay, this is these are the answers in test 1. Okay, let's proceed to test 2. For test 2, we have 10 items. Okay, number 1, we have this function f of x is equal to 15. This belongs to our case number 1, derivative of a constant. So again, derivative of a constant is always equal to 0. So f of x derivative is equal to 0. Automatically, it is equal to 0. Then number 2, so we have this function y equals to 3x raised to 5. This belongs to the derivative of a constant multiplied to a function. So we can separate our constant to our function, and we can derive separately our function x raised to 5. Here we can use the power rule for derivative of a power. So by applying the rule, you bring down 5, and then the exponent is subtracted by 1. That's why by simplifying, we have this 3 times 5 equals to 15, and then x raised to 4. So our final answer, derivative of this function is equal to 15x raised to 4. Okay, number 3, derivative of a difference. The derivative of a difference, f of x equals to 9x minus 1/3, and it has 2 terms. Yung first term, derivative of a constant and a function. Then yung second term, derivative of a constant. Okay, applying the derivative separately on each term. So applying the power rule here, we have exponent 1, so bring down. Then we have exponent, initially we have an exponent 1 here, so minus 1. this gives us x raised to 0. So any term or any variable raised to 0 is equal to 1. That's why 9 times 1 times 1 is equal to 9 minus the derivative of the constant of a constant is equal to 0. So our final answer is 9. The derivative of f of x is equal to 9. Number 4. The derivative of a sum. Again, we have two terms. We can derive separately these two terms. Derivative of a constant multiplied by a function. Then here, same pa rin, derivative of constant multiplied by a function x. Okay, dito we bring down 3/4, then exponent 3/4 minus 1. Simplifying, 8 divided 4 times 3 equals to 6. 3/4 minus 1 is equal to negative 1/4 plus 2x. Derivative of 2x of 2x. The result is 2. And simplifying, we bring this down to our denominator since the exponent is a negative number. It becomes positive as we bring down this x raised to 1/4. And you can also simplify this by converting to a radical. So our final answer here is y equals to 6 divided by, or 6 over 4th root of x plus 2. Actually, we can also have this answer or this answer. I will consider this 2 as your final answer. Number 5. So for number 5, we can apply quotient rule, but actually we can have a more simplified solution by simplifying first the fraction. The numerator can be extracted to 2, so we extract 2 from each term, then it will give us 2 times quantity x plus 1, and we have x plus 1 in our denominator, so we can cancel this x plus 1. Then the remaining value is 2. So this is the simplified function, and then if we apply the derivative, again derivative of constant is equal to 0. This is our final answer. And if we apply the quotient rule, so we have this alternate solution. Applying quotient rule, the denominator times the derivative of the numerator. The derivative of this is equal to 2 minus numerator times the derivative of the denominator, which is equal to 1, over denominator squared. Simplifying the numerator, we have this 2x plus 2 minus 2x plus 2. The numerator is equal to 0, so 0 over any value of the denominator except 0. We have 0, so the derivative of y is equal to 0. Same lang ang result. Okay, number 6. We we have this g of x, g as a function of x equals to 7 times this function. The derivative of constant multiplied by a function. Okay, this g here, don't be confused if we use f sometimes, we use g sometimes, or h. They are just the same. We just use a different letter of the alphabet. Okay, applying the derivative, copying yung constant, and then we derive individually yung bawat terms ng function natin. So having a direct approach or a direct solution, I believe at this point you are already familiar with our different tools. So this gives us 2x times 3, 2 third times 3, we have 2, then 3 minus 1 equals to 2. And distributing this to each of the term, we have 14x plus 14x squared. This is our final answer. Then for number 7, we can use product rule, but to have a more simplified solution, we can simplify first the function. We do not apply the derivative immediately. So, simplify muna natin yung function. Okay, this is the product of sum and difference of a binomial. Applying FOIL method or applying our formula, it gives us x squared minus 4. So this is in your algebra. So you need to review your algebra. Okay, this function is being simplified to y equals to x squared minus 4. And applying the derivative, we have a derivative of a difference. This term gives us 2x minus derivative of the constant is equal to 0. So our final answer is equal to 2x. We have y prime, or derivative of y is equal to 2x. Then alternate solution, applying product rule. For product rule, first term times the derivative of the second term is equal to 1, plus second term times the derivative of our first term which is equal to 1. Simplifying our expression, we have x minus 2 plus x plus 2 cancelled out, and it gives us 2x. So we have y prime is equal to 2x. That is problem number 7. And for number 8, so for number 8, we can apply quotient rule. So we can have here by applying quotient rule, we have denominator times the derivative of the numerator. The derivative of this is equal to 2u minus the numerator times the derivative of the denominator, which is equal to 1, all over denominator squared, u plus 1 squared. And distributing this gives us 2u squared plus 2u minus u squared. Similar term ang first at saka yung third. So 2u squared minus u squared gives us u squared plus 2u all over u plus 1. And expanding this, we have u squared plus 2u plus 1. So actually, you can have this as your final answer. Pwede rin hindi na-expand. Then number 9, we can apply directly yung power rule for each term. Baba lang yung 3. So we have 3. Then 3 minus 1, we have 2. 3x squared minus 2 times 2, 4. 2 minus 1, we have 1. Then derivative constant is 0. That's why our final answer is 3x squared minus 4x. That's for number 9. And lastly, number 10, derivative of a difference. First second term here involves a radical symbol, a radical sign. We can convert this into exponential, radical exponential. That's why we have this 3x minus x raised to 1 half. Applying the derivative, okay, this is equal to 3 minus baba yung exponent 1 half. 1 half minus 1 is equal to negative 1 half. And simplifying second term, we have 1 over 2x raised to 1 half. And we can convert this into radical. We can convert this back to radical. And we have this final answer. I can accept this as your final answer or this. So that is all about your prelim exam. Just review the different rules in derivative. Okay, that's all. Thank you for listening.